Alright, what's up you guys? Today we have a Fender 50's Vintera Telecaster in Fiesta Red. I'm going to go ahead and play some clean sounds for you guys and then add some overdrive with a pedal and give you guys an idea as to how the pickups sound like. I'll go into the details about this guitar and my opinion of it and how it compares to other guitars at the end of this video, so we're just going to kick it right off with the sound, starting with neck and then the middle position with both pickups and then the bridge. Starting with clean. Okay, so that is pretty much the sound of this guitar. There's a few things I want to say. I'm going to put up a picture that compares my Fiesta Red Classic Vibe and this Telecaster on the screen right now. You can tell that the shade of red is different. And the Classic Vibe guitars, the Strat at least, the Fiesta Red one, was advertised as Fiesta Red, which is interesting to see that this Fiesta Red, which I think the Vintera Telecaster is the accurate shade of Fiesta Red. I've heard that Fiesta Red is supposed to be this red orangey-ish tinge that you may not actually see that well in this video. It might just look like ordinary red to you guys. I don't know if I can. I have an RCA box right here. This is very not really the same color. This is like an orange. I don't know. I don't think you can tell with my camera, but definitely you can tell in the picture. That's one difference I noticed immediately when I saw this guitar. Then you have the vintage frets. A lot of people I've read on forums saying that vintage frets aren't very good for bending because there are some dead. I guess like you're more likely to have the neck choke out on you. But I don't really think I have that problem with this guitar. I can bend anywhere I like, and I don't hear any buzzing or anything. You might hear it maybe when you're unplugged, but when you're plugged in, I don't hear a damn thing. And the neck is very chunky. I will say that. I'm not a person who has owned a lot of vintage style Telecasters. The Player Series Telecaster is a much slimmer and I guess faster. It's a very flat radius. This has some curvature to it, and it does definitely feel like I'm holding a baseball bat, as most people like to say. But it's a very comfortable neck. I actually prefer chunky necks. It just feels like you're playing something, you know? It feels like you're playing a big slab of wood, and that's essentially what this is, but it just feels good to play. And if it feels good to play, then you're gonna play better. So, you know. Another thing I wanted to comment on was the pickups. The pickup sound, how do I say this, more dynamic than the Player Series pickups and the Classic Vibe ones. It feels like this guitar breathes more. I think it has to do with the pickups. I don't know, something about it. It just feels like it's more responsive to my playing. When I was comparing this side by side to the Player Series, it felt like this Player Series was more compressed with how dynamic your playing could be. The sound was very much, it's a modern sound. I don't know how to describe it. It's just very in your face, not very subtle, very much kind of in your face. You don't really get to be like, if you try to play quietly and then saw like louder and then very loud, with this guitar you could hear and feel that it's like it opens up when you play, it blooms. Whereas with the Player Series, it just felt like you were stuck. It was like you were just in the center, and you could play quietly, but it just didn't feel natural. Not like this guitar. This guitar just feels very natural to your playing, and that's one of the things I wanted to say, that this guitar has the upper hand. And of course, this guitar is about $899. And for some people that might be like, well, why would I spend that much money when I can just play a Classic Vibe? And I've owned the Classic Vibe, and I've owned the first generation Telecasters, both the Butterscotch Blonde and the Vintage Blonde ones. I preferred the Vintage Blonde. The pickups on those guitars sound amazing. But the thing is, I feel like, yes, at a certain price point, you can get a good sound. The Classic Vibes, they have a great sound. And you can gig with that guitar. You could record with that guitar. You could, if you're a hobbyist and just play home, that will probably be the only guitar you will ever want, or need for that matter. I'm a hobbyist too, but okay, I do play in a band, and occasionally I do play at gigs, and not to say that neither the Player Series nor the Classic Vibe can do any of those things, but I feel like with the Vintera, you're also paying for durability. and you're paying for just better parts in general. The finish looks so much nicer than both of those other guitars. This looks like work was done to it, like a lot of good work. The electronics feel fantastic. The pots feel amazing. The switch does not feel cheap. It feels great. The tuners hold their tunability very well. All I did was slap some 9s onto this. I think 10s came with it because it was a little bit tighter to play, but now I put some 9s. I didn't even have to really set it up. It was almost like it was made for 9s. It plays amazing, fantastic. I just feel like this guitar is gonna hold out longer, and it makes me want to play. So in a way, I do justify the price because I feel like this is an instrument where work was done to it and they didn't cheap out anywhere. It may not be nitrocellulose finish like the correct vintage period would be, but nevertheless, it's still an amazing looking guitar. You can't say that it's not. But anyways, I'm gonna stop griping. I love this guitar, and if you're thinking about purchasing a Vintera 50's Telecaster, I highly recommend it. It even came with a soft case too. It's a fantastic guitar, amazing guitar. The Telecaster experience definitely comes through this line of Fender guitars. So that will be all, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and found it informative and maybe helped you decide on whether or not you want this guitar for yourself. So that's it, and I will see you guys in the next video.